At Colton's funeral, I reached into my jacket for my eulogy and found a letter instead. The handwriting wasn't mine. The first line said the killer's job was complete, and the person who wrote it was sitting somewhere in that church. It triggered something hungry and wild and powerful. Anger. And that's when phase 2 commenced. I can't believe he's gone. Lydia, Colton's girlfriend, mumbled, joining me by one of the pews. Who could have done this to him? I don't know. She brushed a piece of strawberry blonde hair away from her face and dabbed under her eyes. I think I'm going crazy. I keep hearing his voice, hallucinating that he's here. It's like he's trying to communicate to me beyond the grave. Doubt it, I answered, keeping my voice monotone. Maybe I just need counseling, she whispered, staring distantly at nothing in particular. Maybe you're doing that thing, Lydia said, craning her neck to look at me with her big green eyes. My teeth clenched, a tick pulsing in my jaw. Your habit of decreasing the words in each response, she explained. I need someone to talk to, Elliot. Please. This is hard for me. Her words buried their way under my skin, latching on and cutting the single thread of control I had left. I turned to her. My anger had transformed into rage, a wild and hungry fire that burned within me. Hard for you. It's a tragedy for you. It's traumatizing for me. I still have nightmares about finding his body in the lake. You can't complain to me that it's hard for you. I stood up, brushed past her and made my way to the exit. The suffocating sensation of being locked in a room full of grief and melancholy finally set free as I inhaled the warm spring air. With shaking hands, I ran my fingers through my hair and looked up at the blinding sun until I saw spots in my vision. Then I closed my eyes and watched as the splotches of light danced behind my eyelids. Elliot. Opening my eyes, I saw Cass. The gravel crunched beneath her boots as she made her way over. The Crests are requesting for you to make your eulogy. I made a reluctant noise. A grunt crossed with a sigh as I scrubbed my hand down my face. It won't take long, she insisted, giving my shoulder a comforting squeeze. You're doing well. I followed Cass back inside. As I walked, my eyes scanned across the sea of people with unfamiliar faces and vaguely recognizable features. We were all there for the same reason, but I had never felt so isolated. As soon as I stood up at the podium, I felt sick. A rush of nausea swept over me as sweat broke out on my forehead. I clutched the side of the platform, allowing my nails to dig into the wood and my knuckles to turn white. Licking my dry lips, I looked up at the audience. I swallowed the dry lump that started forming in my throat and tried to stay upright. I reached into my jacket pocket and searched for my cards. My fingers sorted through the contents of my pocket. There was a button, something that felt like an old piece of gum, a coin, and finally, my written speech. But when I pulled it out, I realized it was a piece of paper and not my small collection of notes. Someone coughed from the back of the room, which caused my panicked self to open the paper and place it on the stand. But when I smoothed the folded wrinkles of the page, I saw a messy scroll that wasn't my own. So, if you found this letter, it means that my job was successfully completed. Colton Crest is nothing but a memory, a lifeless body, a shell. I quickly grabbed the piece of paper and stuffed it back into my pocket. My heart was racing, stomach clenching, palms sweating. The crowd of people before me began to blur until all I could see was a sea of distorted shapes. I took a step away from the podium, trying to control my shallow breaths. The microphone only emphasized my suffocation. With a heaving chest, I tried clearing my throat to apologize, to excuse myself, but the words couldn't find their way out. I had to get out of there. So, without another breath, I bolted for it. 10 minutes later, I was alone in my car, the folded paper in my hand. My thumb ran over the lined piece of parchment, feeling the indents of the writer's script. I was having an internal battle about whether I should read it or not. A dollar coin sat near the console, reflecting light from the sun. I leaned over and picked it up, letting it slide between my fingers. One side had an image of the Queen, the other held a cluster of kangaroos. Heads. I throw the paper out. Tails. I read it. I balanced the dollar on my thumb and flicked it into the air, watching as it spun back down to my palm. Slapping the coin onto the back of my hand, I took a deep breath. Tails, I muttered, staring at the animals printed on the coin. I tossed the dollar back to where I had gotten it and unfolded the piece of paper. Although my stomach was squeezing and my conscience was begging me to stop, I didn't. I read, "So, if you found this letter, it means that my job was successfully completed. Colton Crest is nothing but a memory, a lifeless body, a shell. I'd like to say that killing him was hard, but really, It was the opposite. It seemed almost too easy. Every good murder has legitimate reasons for killing, though. I'm certain you knew none of them. Otherwise you would have known what was happening that night. You could have saved him. But you didn't. I'll let that sink in. One thing you should know is that I knew Colton better than you did. You have to be able to recognize weaknesses and target them. I bet you don't know any of his weaknesses. I mean, he was the golden boy of Hampton High, wasn't he? It was expected that he wouldn't have any evident flaws. But trust me, if you had gotten to know Colton the way I did, you'd know that he had plenty. I'm the only one who has all the answers. I know where he went during May, when he mysteriously disappeared. I know what happened where he went. I know why. But giving out all that information wouldn't be any fun. Let's play a scavenger hunt game. I have written 6 more letters and hidden them in 6 different locations. Each letter contains a confession. By the time you read the last letter, you'll know who I am. Take your time though. I have nothing but time. I'll even be attending his funeral. I'm the person you were least expecting. Now, before I finish up and let you tear yourself apart trying to figure out this mystery, I'll leave you with the first confession. I killed Colton Crest.